Welcome everybody to the Safina Society Nothing But Facts live stream on a Wednesday, in which the dua, everyone should have made dua today. It's Asr is coming in soon. Everyone should make dua on this day, and we're going to do so right now. We're going to kick it right off with the dua of Yom, well, it's really just the dua after Dhuhr in the Awrad books of the Al-Ba'alawi. And we will do that now, and then we will do a small dua. Personal, everyone by themselves. People who haven't come on before or seen us do this. This wird that we're reciting is not related to Wednesdays. It just happens to be one of the awrad, which are prayer litanies, authored by Sayyidina al-Imam al-Haddad. And he wrote this for recitation after Dhuhr. And so we're going to recite that, and then we'll do 4 or 5 minutes of silent prayer. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا فتحنا لك فتحا مبينا ليغفر لك الله ما تقدم من ذنبك وما تأخر ويتم نعمته عليك ويهديك صراطا مستقيما وينصرك الله نصرا عزيزا وكان عند الله وجيها في الدنيا والآخرة من المقربين وجهت وجهي للذي فطر السماوات والأرض بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نصر من الله وفتح قريب وبشر المؤمنين يا أيها الذين آمنوا كونوا أنصار الله كما قال عيسى بن مريم للحواريين من أنصاري إلى الله قال الحواريون نحن أنصار الله الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله وتلك الأمثال نضربها للناس لعلهم يتفكرون هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر سبحان الله عما يشركون هو الله الخالق البارئ المصور له الأسماء الحسنى يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم أعيذ نفسي بالله تعالى من كل ما يسمع بأذنين ويبصر بعينين ويمشي برجلين ويبطش بيدين ويتكلم بشفتين حصنت نفسي بالله الخالق الأكبر من شر ما أخاف وأحذر من الجن والإنس ويحضرون عز جاره وجل ثناؤه وتقدست أسماؤه ولا إله غيره اللهم اجعلك في نهور أعدائي وأعوذ بك من شرورهم وتحيلهم ومكرهم ومكائدهم أطفئ نار من أراد بعداوة من الجن والإنس يا حافظ يا حفيظ يا كافي يا محيط سبحانك يا رب ما أعظم شأنك وسلطانك تصنت بالله بسم الله بآية الله وملائكة الله وأنبياء الله ورسل الله والصالحين من عباد الله أحسنت نفسي بلا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم اللهم احرسني بعينك التي لا تنام وكنفني بكنفك الذي لا يرام وارحمني بقدرتك علي فلا أهلك وأنت ثقتي ورجائي يا غياث المستغيثين يا غياث المستغيثين يا غياث المستغيثين يا درك الهالكين يا درك الهالكين يا درك الهالكين اكفني شر كل طارق يطرق بالليل أو نهار إلا طارق يطرق بخير إنك لكل شيء قدير بسم الله أرقي نفسي من كل ما يؤذي ومن كل حاسد الله شفائي بسم الله رقيت اللهم رب الناس أذل الباس اشفي أنت الشافي وعافي أنت المعافي لا شفاء إلا شفاؤك شفاء لا يغادر سقم ولا ألم يا كافي يا وافي يا حميد يا مجيد ارفع لي كل تعب شديد واكفني من الحد والهديد والمرض الشديد والجيش العديد واجعل لي نور من نورك وعز من عزك ونصر من نصرك وبهاء من بهائك وعطاء من عطائك وحراسة من حراستك تأييد من تأييدك يا ذا الجلال والإكرام والمهب العظام أسألك أن تكفيني من شر كل ذي شر إنك أنت الله الخالق الأكبر صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه والحمد لله رب العالمين ظاهرا وباطنا وعلى كل حال يا أرحم الراحمين. صلى الله وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. Tamar, if you can kindly throw me that cape, please. Here's a question that came up. If I make dua for something, do I have to remember that I made dua for it? If there's a time of ijabah, do I have to know? Is it a condition to know that it's time of ijabah for the ijabah to be actually occurring? And the answer is no to either one of them. What you simply don't have to do, we cannot do, is consciously give up on a dua. But a person may have made a dua on a moment of ijabah, a time of ijabah. Ijabah means the special times which prayers are more likely to be answered. And a person may have totally forgotten that they made that dua, maybe even sort of moved on from it and maybe not even is interested in it anymore, right? It's not enough. It doesn't negate your prayer. You can still receive it. Reason is that we are not like the mindfulness types and the law of attraction types who believe that it's themselves, their mind, pulling this matter out of the universe. We don't believe that. We're not manifesting. You are asking. And when you ask someone who never forgets, and he grants it to you, you can forget about it. You cannot think about it at all. It's just still going to happen because you're not manifesting it. That's a huge difference and separation between us, da'wah, dua, and Islam, and this whole manifesting world. Which maybe a couple years ago, everyone was going crazy with this thing. We don't believe in these things at all. It's not our belief. Our belief is that, yes, if somebody sticks to something, that's called ilhah, and that's good. Non-stop, he makes dua for it. Non-stop. That's good. That's acceptable. That's expected as well. But if you forget about it, khalas. Doesn't make a difference. If it's accepted with one who never forgets. And that's why this is much more relaxing. This manifesting business is stressful. You think you're getting empowered, but you're not. Secondly, I like what Khabib said when he got inducted to the UFC Hall of Fame. Did you guys watch that speech? Oh, he said something great, right? He said, every time someone succeeds these days, he said, it was my mindset, right? He says, it's not your mindset. This is a gift from God and a test to see how you're going to react. Are you going to be grateful or are you going to be arrogant? Your mindset is a sabab. The way you're thinking is one of the means along. It may come, and by the way, there are tons of people who are very successful who don't have mindset. We never looked at that. Yeah, we looked at some people who have great mindset and they're successful. How many people are very successful, no good mindset? I'm sure they're out there. You could be very rich in many ways. Inheritance can make you rich. Simply getting lucky on stocks can make you rich. You know how many people just got lucky on stocks? Tons of people. If they're involved in 10,000 stocks a year, of course, some of them are going to be successful, right? Like immensely successful. Whenever you see this, the successful people do this, I want to ask a question. How many unsuccessful people do the same thing, and how many successful people don't do that? Now we have a statistic that has meaning. At the end of the day, even this idea of mindset is one of the asbab. The asbab, for those who are new to this, it's the means by which Allah brings His will into the earth. Allah doesn't come down onto the earth and do anything. He creates a means for this to occur. So you want to feel hydrated? He created a means for you to get that, which is water. Drink water. He doesn't come and create hydration in your body. No, He creates a means. So everything is a means. Your mind is a means. Okay? Your mindset is a means. So don't attribute success to your mindset. There's no difference between the guy who attributes success to the moment of the success versus the one who goes back to mindset, right? And they always do this. I didn't succeed when I was 30. No, I succeeded when I was 12. Because when I was 12, I put it in my mind, I'm going to be successful. Well, you did nothing except take us one chain back. That's all you did. You took us more chains back. Ultimately, where did that idea come from? Now explain to me, how did you get to that mindset? That's the thing. Same thing with the evolutionists in the world, or the naturalists, who refuse to hold that there is a living being that has knowledge and power. They refuse to accept this. Things have to be explained only through hukm al-adi, right? Which is this naturalism. So if you take it back, they're going to keep going one step back, one step back, one step back. At the end of the day, we're going to still say, wherever your first step is, let's say you discover 1 million more steps before the Big Bang or whatever it is, we're still going to ask you the question, who launched it all? Who initiated it all? Who initiated that? We're still going to ask that question. And infinity into the past, that's irrational. And secondly, it's a belief. If you believe there's an infinite set of causation that just keeps going infinitely. First of all, you'd have to submit that's a belief. That's not a fact. That will never be a fact because it will never have enough time to count infinity. So infinity will never be counted in real life. Infinity is a concept. That's it. So it's imagination. And it's a belief. It's a belief. So you have to prove to me why I should believe that there's an infinite regress of causation into the past. That's a quick question about dua. Let's get to the subject matter. Which is the belief in the unseen. What does it mean that inna Allah indahu ilmu as-sa'a, yani jami'u ilm as-sa'a? First of all, you know why this is even, when they say only Allah knows the ghaib. Well, what is ghaib? What is the unseen? Unseen to whom? Right? You are unseen to your great-grandparents. Right? The future, the idea that you're going to exist is unseen to them. Yes, they may have a suspicion that they're going to have great grandkids. If a family has 10 kids, you can pretty much, with a high level of confidence, believe that the lineage will last 3 more generations, right? 10 kids. 10 kids will produce what? Minimum 20 grandkids. 20 grandkids will produce 40. So chances are you're going to have great grandkids. But to you, that's unseen at that point. all of our lineage in the year 2125, 100 years from now, chances are none of us are going to live to be 140 years old, 130 years old, or 120 years old, right? So what is the Gillenhammer family look like at 2125, right? Inshallah Muslimin. Yeah. Will they have blonde hair or not? That's the question, right? What's your last name? Who? Al-Wasila. That's your last name? أنت رجل صوفي. Just kidding. What is the Wasila family going to be like in 2125? Who the heck knows, right? But hopefully they'll exist, right? So that's a ghaib to us. So what about, let's say, other things like the signs of the end of time, which are occurring now and may occur in the future, can be unseen to us now, but it's seen to us in the future. Sheikh al-Buti has a wonderful lecture hole on this to say that how relative is ghaib, right? Now, if for someone to think that Yawm al-Qiyamah is ghaib for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's ghaib to us. It's not ghaib to Allah ta'ala, because firstly, Allah ta'ala is not waiting until days pass, until the day of judgment comes. We have to believe in the transcendence of the Creator beyond az-zaman wal-makan. It's transcendent beyond time and place. All of this time is almost like a book. It's like a book. We have to walk through every single page of the book. That's every minute of every hour of every day. But the Creator, this is all like a book. The Creator wants to show someone what the end of the book is like. That's Isra and Mi'raj. The Prophet ﷺ was shown things that have not yet actually happened, but he was shown. It's almost showing someone the end of the book, right? So for Allah Ta'ala, there is no actual ghaib. The ghaib is for us. So when a Turk talks about ilm as-sa'a, inna Allah indahu ilm as-sa'a, so this is a specific mention of a general category of all things we don't know, using the most highlighted one, which is the end of life on this earth, right? That's like, of all the events that are occurred, that's got to be the most important event, right? The beginning, the apex, which is the coming of the last messenger. Is there a second apex? The coming of Prophet Isa bin Maryam to finish the job for this ummah and for the whole purpose of existence, of this world's existence. And then the end of life. So when Allah Ta'ala brings you, only Allah knows the end of life, it means He is the only one who has all knowledge. This is takhsis al-am. It's something general category, but He used a specific thing for that category. So this concept that Allah only knows all things, and prophets can be informed of the future too. The Prophet ﷺ knows a lot of what we would call ghaib, but he knows it with certainty, with absoluteness. We know it. We may speculate about it. We may know some of it, but not all of it. Right? We may assume something or guess. Yeah, that's just. Or you may be receiving mukashafa, and mukashafa is dhanni dalala. Dhanni, it's dhanni in its thubut and dalala. So a person may get a mukashafa, which is a vision, let's say. And we believe in that. The Prophet, peace be upon him himself, he said that there only remains 1/46 of prophethood, and that is the true vision. So we do believe in that. But when a person receives that, you are believing in it, you are receiving it and believing in it, but it is not the same belief as something that comes in the Quran. Something that comes in the Quran is absolutely cannot have error, or in a sound hadith. However, for somebody who receives a vision, yes, it's possible that there could be an error there, right? And nobody has to believe it too. If you're a person who receives visions 50 years in a row, and you are 100%, every vision you receive happens. Now comes another vision that you receive. I am under no obligation to believe you in Islam, right? As much as I may honor somebody and love them, I'm not obligated to believe that, right? And live my life by it. But I can't call him a liar. That's the difference. Calling someone a liar has to have proof. I can call you a liar, but I have to believe you. So that's the difference epistemologically between visions and actual revelations and hadiths from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay.
I heard an interesting interpretation of that hadith.
Heads.
That the first half year of prophethood was
True dreams, 100%.
Right, and then the Ba'athah was 23 years.
Yep.
So 1/46 of the
Yep.
Ba'athah was in dreams. Right?
So 0.5 years over 23 equals 1 out of 46. That's it. That's exactly it. Because the first 6 months out of 23 years of revelation, all it was true dreams. Then when Jibreel came, the Prophet ﷺ said to Khadija, radiallahu ta'ala, the one who came to me in the dreams, now he's come to me in real life. Now you understand why Jibreel alayhi salam held the Prophet so tight. So tight. He held him so tight. Which is to give you a physical feeling. This is not one of those dreams. This is not now, you're not been in the cave for so long that you're seeing visions now. No, this is real. And when he went down, he was clearly like shivering, physically changed. Also, that wouldn't happen from a dream, right? It'd be physically, he was altered. So, Omar, whatever happened to that guy who used to be in black magic and devil worship and then he entered Islam? Really? I want to watch that video, to be honest with you. Yeah, find out, because I'm interested in his stories. I'm interested in those stories. Yeah, look it up, see if it's legit for us to have on even. He's a Satan worshiper named Drevin Thatcher. Maybe I shouldn't tell everybody. But he is no longer a Satan worshiper. He's a Muslim now. So let's see what he actually thinks and what he's all about, because it's interesting. All right, let's take a look here. This tafsir of Surah Luqman, which we're on the last ayah, in Allah indahu ilmus sa'a, and we may have actually read this, but I want to read it again. He alone has knowledge of the hour, meaning all knowledge, absolutely. وَيُنَزِّلُ الْغَيْثِ, and he alone determines when the rain will come down. He alone determines that. Nobody determines that. Even if the weatherman tells you it's going to rain tomorrow, yeah, he's not doing it. He's just telling you that he sees the signs of raining coming tomorrow. And by the way, how much are they wrong? How much are these people wrong? How about this? When we talk about the witnessing of the new moon for the month of Ramadan and the calculation of the new moon, one of the reasons why that can never ever be qat'i knowledge is because it hasn't happened yet. And then you say, no, we're telling you that it's going to be visible here and it's going to be born. Fine, I believe you, but you don't know where the clouds are going to move. You don't know if a dust storm is going to get in the way. So the claim of visibility of the new moon is based on a lot of assumptions. The clarity of the sky. How do you know where the clouds are going to be? How do you know there's not going to be dust in the air, some other things in the air? So we're not saying that they have totally no clue. But we're saying that it can never be deemed to be qat'i. Absolutely certain. See, absolutely certain knowledge is very different. Okay? Absolutely certain knowledge is, if you negate it, the society calls you majnoon. That's qat'i knowledge, right? If you negate it, we should all call you either playing dumb or crazy. Anybody who tells us, give me something that's mutawatir. Let's say, all right, who's the president right now? Enough people in the world have seen. And that's why they always ask somebody who they want to see if he's insane. They ask him, like, what are the facts that the whole world agrees on? What day of the week is it right now? Isn't this one of the most interesting things? That there's unanimity in the whole world, and there's never been a moment where, let's say, like the Europeans went and discovered South Americans where they didn't have this idea of 7 days a week, or something like that. Or they believed in 9 days a week. Or they believed in, 10 days a week. Well, that makes sense. 10 days a week, 3 weeks a month. That's possible. 30 months, the 30 days, right? That's almost like rational too. But this is divinely created. 12 months a year, 7 days a week. And that's come down from Adam, and it spread from Noah, and it spread to everyone, and there's no reason to ever to change it. So it's one of those things that stuck. The Quran talks about having 12 months a year, and Jum'ah has been mentioned very early on as pointing to 7 days a week. So it's one of those interesting things. There's no culture out there that we're saying, okay, we're going to go back and revive. You know what? Post-colonial, everyone's reviving their tribal heritage. And we're going to rename our city back to the name before the British came. And we're going to go back to having 8 days a week. And by the way, it's not Wednesday, it's Monday. You know what kind of chaos that would create for shipping? Amazon would be in trouble. Everyone would be in trouble. Everyone who wants to work with someone abroad will be in trouble. But it's one of those really interesting things that we unanimously agree on what day of the week it is, right? That's mutawatir. That's why they ask people if they think they're lost consciousness or semi-insane. They ask them these questions. What day of the week is it? Who's the president? This is mutawatir stuff, right? So somebody answers and says, Jimmy Carter's president. That guy's insane, right? Or he lost his memory or something, right? But dhanni, even ghalabatu dhann, you're pushing the envelope. And the famous example of dhanni would be like, did we actually land on the moon? Right? Because it's mustafid. Epistemologically, it's mustafid. If you believe it, you're not like establishment loser. Just to separate us from the conspiracy theorists. Because they're stupid too. Those guys are idiots. Right? But epistemologically, how many people witnessed someone walking on the moon? Less than people in this room. Can Ryan, Ahmed, Taimur, and Omar and I all conspire to fool somebody and put something on the screen that isn't actually here? Of course we can, right? It's within the realm of possibility. So it's within the realm of possibility that happened. And there's political motive. There's the ability to do it. There's definitely motive. There's no doubt about it. And there's definitely ability. Okay? And then where's the original footage? I don't understand how you can lose that. Isn't that should be right next to the Constitution of the United States, the most important piece of state history? Look it up. Ahmed, look this up. They actually don't have the original. So isn't that?
I don't think they've actually gone back either to the moon.
Oh, why did you go back? Right? Go back. I know. And wouldn't this be something you want to sell if you're NASA?
Right.
Like Trump selling gold cards. If you can go to the moon, how much does it cost to go to the moon? It should be getting cheaper every year, right? So sell it to someone like, what's his name, Musk. He would want to go for $1 billion. He'll pay $1 billion to go and take a video of himself on the moon. Or forget less than that, $100 million. So just nothing for Amazon, what's his name? Bezos. So the original now you're telling me, Omar, put the footage on the screen so everybody can see. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying it's not qat'i. Keep in mind, I'm not going crazy Looney Tune here. I'm not into that. Because conspiracy theorists, you know what they do? They elevate awham into qat'iyat and they negate facts. That's why I'm not into conspiracy theories. I'm into epistemology. And to find the best example of something that's mustafid in the world today, which only a few people saw, but it feels like it's mutawatir, is the moon landing. That's why I always use it as an example. All right, go. I mean, it looks convincing, but you cannot tell me that grainy footage, right? You cannot tell me that's cannot be replicated. There's a % chance it could have been made in Hollywood. So that's the shadow, I guess, coming from the sun. All right. I don't even know what I see. Okay, now I know. Okay. They're kind of sort of floating around. Huh?
That'd be crazy to stand on.
No, it'd be crazy. That's the sun, and what's in front of it there? Grass?
No, I think that's the Earth.
Oh, that's the earth. Okay.
It says that the original tapes aren't available though.
The original tapes are why aren't they in the museum right next to the Constitution?
That's in the video. And
NASA has searched for 8 years and couldn't.
You're gotta be kidding me. Someone's gonna get fired. Do you know how badly, if my kid lost his like diploma for medical school, right? Imagine you sent your kid through medical school and then he says, oh, hey, give me the diploma. I want to hang it in the new office. No, I lost it. You what? You lost it? You know, you can't. Sometimes you can't get a new one. What if the guy signed it and he died or retired? How are you going to find that guy?
This person says one of the astronauts refused to swear on the Bible that they'd walk on the
Wow.
That's clear right there.
Listen, so that's an example of mustafid. Mustafid. Okay. Mustafid. Few people saw it.
Someone said they saw it live on TV.
Yeah. I don't think it was live. I don't know if they were broadcasting live. It was footage for sure, but so in any event, that's the meaning of absolute knowledge. If you question it, you are majnoon. And I don't have a position on the moon landing except that you must admit it is possible. It's not qat'i knowledge. Qat'i knowledge is 9/11. You question 9/11, you're majnoon. There's mutawatir that it happened, right? Mutawatir that the event occurred, right? Who did it? It's to me almost wahm to believe cavemen in Afghanistan did this, or Arabs and Egyptians and Saudis were involved in this. What? Do you know us? Go to one of our masajid. We got doctors running the masajid. You can't find tissue paper, right? The most sophisticated operations are going to be, Western Muslims, right? Go look at the wudu, right? This group of people. Now you're going to tell me Saudis from the Middle East, of all people. Go look at our parking lots. Go look at anything that we do. From the first minute, I said, guaranteed. No, our people, not that they wouldn't do it. Not that they wouldn't. They couldn't. And maybe because I can't say we wouldn't, that Allah took away from us the ability to be able to do it. And we can. I guarantee you, they cannot do it. Okay, let's find the actual genuine, right? Yeah, FBI is watching right now. The actual genuine, I'm going to leave the 9/11 subject because Ryan's parents are going to get pissed off at this. Let's look at the genuine follow-up missions that Al-Qaeda did.
It reached the point that even the moon landing society cannot handle you denying that.
It's they don't want to be lied to. Yeah, can't deny it. But let's take a look at the genuine Al-Qaeda operations after 9/11. So you're that good, okay, that you could do 9/11. Show me more of your stuff. Take down the Eiffel Tower or something. Show me much easier. Show what's the follow-up act of Al-Qaeda? The sneaker bomb. Really? No, the sneaker bombing. That's your follow-up act? And that was a complete fail. What's the next one? The underwear bomber. That's your follow-up act, right? That's your follow-up act. So if you tell me if you win the gold medal in the Olympics, in soccer, or you win the World Cup, then next year round, you can't make MLS, American Soccer League, you can't make a team here, then something's off. You cannot possibly perform greatest heist of all time. Bin Laden stole the moon, essentially. He took down the World Trade Centers, both of them. And somehow, Building 7 just went down without him doing anything. How can you go from that to underwear to shoe bombers to ridiculous plots like this, and you have no record after that, no wins? In the world of criminals, right? You committed the greatest heist of all time, then nothing? I don't buy it. Right? Think about it.
I knew something was off when they
think about it.
when they said they found a Quran in the bar. From the
That's over, man. No, how about the passport? Passport in the rubble. No, the thing right now, that thing that makes complete no sense. Yeah. Now there are now pilots for 9/11 Truth. There's architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth. There are pilots for 9/11 Truth. The pilots themselves, they're like, there's no way any rookie who just studied in Florida how to fly, in Florida when they graduate from that school, you graduate good enough to be able to go over farms and release whatever the powder, the insecticide. That's the job that you get out of that. And you see those in the farms, and you're driving in the Midwest, that plane is going like this, right? And it's releasing, and he's got no passengers. He's releasing the insecticide or whatever it is, pesticide. This guy can't fly a huge plane and get out of NORAD, their whole, you know what I'm talking about. NORAD is the North American whatever radar system, and you evaded that. You took over a plane, first of all. Let's just take this from the start. You took over a plane. There were no people on the plane to stop you. No, because he had a box cutter. Oh, oh, cutting edge, right? Criminality right there. A box cutter, okay? He had a box cutter. And that's why how he took over the plane. Nobody did anything. No one could trip him. No one could jump from him. No one's seen a Liam Neeson movie on the whole flight, right? Okay? So no heroes. Not on one flight, but on all three. Including the mysterious flight that hit the Pentagon that doesn't exist. The plane doesn't exist. It's eviscerated. We never see a plane there. We just see marks. And then the guy goes in, does this wonderful maneuver. At the exact same time, the guy who's monitoring NORAD takes a coffee break. Come on, right? Come on. And then he does a perfect maneuver. His buddy, same thing. Still, NORAD guy, still on the coffee break. Perfect maneuver. Come on, people.
It's a good point about Mutawatir, though, that it says the event, the thing happened, but it doesn't confirm the details that come along with it.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily.
Does not necessarily infirm why it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the idea that a government who wants to get all the natural gas from Afghanistan and give out contracts to their buddies to take down their own tower. No, that idea, and initiate a whole global world war for the next 20 years, that idea is insane. We've never seen any government do anything like that before. For example, Pearl Harbor. We've never seen that. The Lusitania. Didn't you guys study that in history? 7th grade history. The Lusitania. Look it up. Okay, how about Pearl Harbor? We knew that was coming, right? So when we say knowledge of the unseen, God's knowledge is absolute in all facets of it. Prophets are shown from the unseen, but as Imam al-Haddad say, much of it and only all of it is with Allah, but they're given a lot of knowledge of the unseen. And it's only unseen to them. There's no unseen for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Again, we're referring to unseen in our view. And he knows what's in the arham, what's in the wombs. And what ma tadri nafsum madha taksibu ghada. And we don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. And we don't know in which land we're ever going to die. Those future things no one will know. And even if this is ammatan. Yes, it is possible for somebody to receive a mukashafa that you will die in this city. It's possible. 110% possible, right? But we will say it is not absolute. Okay. There is a % chance that they misunderstood the mukashafa. Yes, % chance for sure. And there's no obligation to believe it. So that's a difference. And he can't act upon it. He cannot make, for example, change ahkam shar'iyya for the sake of it. That's what I mean by act upon it. When I mean act upon it, it means it has no impact at all on the sharia. It can impact to halal things that he's choosing, right? Because he doesn't even need that. He can choose one of those halal things without it. So mukashafa may influence a person choosing 2 different halal things. That's it. We covered everything about this subject, right? So that is the end of Surah Luqman. Inshallah. Next time we go to tafsir, we'll go back to Surah Al-Hashr. And we'll close the tafsir. I hope everybody is busying themselves reciting the Quran and not allowing themselves to be distracted with anything else. And remember Sayyidina Uthman said, if our hearts are pure, we would recite the Quran and never be bored from it. So if we do mafhum al-mukhalafa from that, when we hit a time of boredom or we don't want to recite the Quran anymore, that is really only due to our sins, to the rust. We hit a rusty spot in our heart. So what should I do? You should fight through that. Push yourself a little bit more every day. This brother here says YouTube is not going to like this 9/11 talk. Believe it or not, Ahad, is that you? Ahad from my class. We're gonna have a Falooda party. Do not have a broken heart, Ahad. Except my Falooda has to have no noodles and no jello. Nah, I'm wacky, but not that wacky. No, I'll get into. If I want to have a wacky night out, I'll do it. But I'm not gonna mix my pasta and my ice cream. That is taking it too far. If it was good, the Italians would have done it. Yeah. No, after Omar, could you put the Falooda on the thingy? Yeah. These are some good Faloodas. You don't know about Falooda, Brian? All right, you need to come with us to after Eid. I'm going to have a Falooda party with the 10th grade. Yeah, Yankos is coming. Yep. Yankos, yeah. Told you about him? Yazid. His name is Yazid. So I call him Yankos. Inshallah, Yankos min as-sayyat. Yeah. I'm going, we're having a Falooda party. I promised them. Falooda is basically, it's ice cream. Or what in the Desi world they call kulfi, which is basically a grainy style, a different style of ice cream. It's not as cold as ice cream. It's a different way of making ice cream. So you put milk. You put ruafza. This is really good for your health, ruafza. You put ruafza. You then put... Okay, so I stop there. I put the pistachios, and that's it. How wonderful is that? Vanilla ice cream, ruafza. No, it's not vanilla ice cream. It's ras malai flavored ice cream. Yeah, ras malai. Who the heck knows what ras malai flavor is? What is the flavor of ras malai? But what is ras malai flavor, though? We're talking some nonsense today on the live stream. Okay? Yeah. And then they put noodles in it, vermicelli, very skinny noodles. And then they put pistachios on top of that. And they put jello. I'll go without the jello and without the eyeballs, the fish eyeballs. No, I don't put fish eyeballs in I don't eat fish eyeballs. I eat a lot of things. Yeah, look at that. First of all, I don't even know what to eat this with. A fork, a spoon. It's not edible. I need a spork to eat this thing. Anders here. Anders Branas. I'm ethically inclined. However, this podcast makes me lust for knowledge. Shall I put my ethically aqidah aside and attend ArcView courses? First of all, Anders, we have Hanbali aqidah courses. And we have it pre-recorded. And we will have it live too. We will have Hanbali aqidah to be taught. Hanbali aqidah and Hanbali fiqh. So Anders Brennas, you can take Hanbali aqidah and Hanbali fiqh too. And it's a community of knowledge where we're going to start having physical meetings and locations. Who here is in Toronto? I'm going to Toronto. This Ramadan. We're going to get back to Falooda in a second.
Rasmalai is made of some kind of cottage cheese, milk, sugar, cardamom, saffron, and nuts.
Okay, so there's a cardamom flavor of rasmalai. Okay, so listen up, everybody. March 13th, I'm going to Toronto. I don't know even what the event I'm going to is. I got to tell you the truth. But he's the RIS founder and head who sent me the invitation. That's the one who sent me the invitation. So I'm trying to find where. I don't think it's really good for me not to have a clue where I'm going. Right? So for all of you who are Okay, I think this is it. Bismillah. Where's the poster? I don't even see a poster. Well, I don't know. But it's March 13th. I guess it's the ISNA headquarters. I don't know, to be honest with you. But for all of you who are from ArcView or from this live stream that you want to come to that event, come to it. Could you look up ISNA headquarters, ISNA Canada, and see if I'm listed in one of these events? Because I'm going to that event. One day. Leaving that night. Okay. The 13th. Thursday. It's a Thursday. You don't see it there? I don't know. If you're in Canada, please send us the thingy, okay? And some of my friends from the Ghazali Club here, they went to Toronto just to eat. Yeah. So I said, you guys were rewriting Ghazali's book then. Instead of breaking the two desires, increasing the two desires. Because there's a place in Canada that has 70 restaurants. Halal, all halal. There's more, Omar says. It made me wonder, I think, when they fly someone in and he requests, I need this, I need this, I need this. I might make a request like that. You need to give me a Falooda. And it needs to be noodle free, Jello free. Okay. Ridgeway Plaza. You know about this, Timur?
Yeah, man, I grew
The
up.
whole Daisy universe knows
My cousins live like 5 minutes from there.
Flossie B says, if I playfully bite my kid while I'm fasting, does it break my fast? If you turn into Jeffrey Dahmer and you swallowed it, but biting a kid should not break your fast. Let's talk about mas'ala fiqhiyya. Al-ighma athna as-sawm. Can you pull up the Shafi'i while I talk about the Maliki madhab on this? If somebody faints in the middle of the day of fasting, his fast is broken on one condition. His fainting consisted of more than half the day. More than half the day, his fast is broken. This is in Nafrawi's commentary on Risala. If somebody faints before Fajr, then his day is cancelled. He has to do qada. Why? Because that's mahallun niyyah. That's the time of the intention. So again, for somebody so now that you can learn of mas'ala fiqhiyya instead of us talking shahwat all day. Falooda. So you can learn a mas'ala fiqhiyya. The word mas'ala fiqhiyya means a fiqhi question, a fiqhi issue. Okay? So if you faint in the day in fasting, you have to see what your madhab says. But in the Maliki school, you would faint, you would have to do qada if it's more than half the day. If you want exact nas, I read you the exact nas. I get you the exact nas, if that's what you want. But if he fainted before that, before Fajr came in, then la. No, because that's mahallun niyyah. All right?
So you're saying if you're unconscious during...
If being unconscious in the middle of the fast day does not break your fast, unless it's more than half the day.
But being unconscious during Fajr.
During being unconscious, as the fast begins, nullifies the fast, because that's the location of the intent. And the intent is the rukn. Okay? Let's see where that section is here. من أغمي عليه قبل الفجر. Let's talk about another mas'ala. Khalas, we covered that mas'ala. Let's talk about another mas'ala. What level of pain am I in that allows me to break the fast? Okay. قال الشيخ خليل وجب إن خاف هلاكا أو شديد أذى. If you fear death or severe pain. وأما إن لم يخش ذلك, if he's not afraid of that, لكن يشق عليه الصوم, but fasting is just hard, okay, فله الفطر. So there's two categories. Severe pain or death, then you must break your fast. There's wajaba. It's not, I'm going to be a martyr of fasting and I'll die fasting. لا. وجب عليك الإفطار. ولكن إذا كان يشق عليه الصوم. Now, like it's a headache. This is really hard. I'm not dying. I'm not being tortured, but this is really, really, really hard. يشق عليه الصوم. له الفطر. ويقضي. And you make up the day. And once your headache goes away, you do imsak rest of the day. So let's say 1 o'clock, severe headache. Can't stand this anymore. I can't take it. This is torture. You go and you take medicine. You take water. By the way, we must believe in ruqya too. Ruqya is a shifa. Nurullah is a shifa. So believe in ruqya. Never take medicine without doing ruqya. And sometimes you should do ruqya and fully believe in it. And then your headache goes away. You must do imsak. Imsak means I'm not fasting and I'm not eating. I'm respecting the month. So you must do that. وَأَمَّا الْمَرَضُ الْخَفِيفِ, and if there is a light sickness, لا يشق معه الصوم. يحرم الفطور. It is not hard. So the question is, so the first one is, this is severe. The second one is, this is hard. If you cannot say it's hard, then you're not allowed to break your fast. Okay? And you notice there's relativity in these terms, right? Hard for a Navy SEAL may not be hard for somebody who's like, more on the soft side. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Ryan, tell us the Shafi'i ruling on fainting.
So, Junoon, craziness breaks the sawm.
Craziness breaks your fast.
Even if it's for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Opposite of drunkenness or fainting, they don't break the sawm even if it was for the entire day.
Fainting, even for the entire day, does not break the fast in Shafi'i fiqh.
One second.
Oh.
فلا يبطل كل منهما الصوم إلا إن استغرق جميع النهار. So
except if it covers so meaning Fajr, including Fajr and all the way to Maghrib, then it's invalid.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And for sleep, even if it was the entire day, no problem.
And sleep never breaks the fast. Even if you slept, you made the intention to fast, you then sleep, then Fajr comes in, and you slept through the whole day to Maghrib. And if you think that's not possible, it's possible. There are sometimes a person could reach such a level of exhaustion that they could sleep like 20 hours straight. And I think that actually happened to me once. And it was the weirdest feeling. I felt so messed up and weird, but it does happen to people. Okay. Let's continue reading from Nafrawi. We'll see what he says here. If you break your fast on a sickness that is not even difficult, you want to say there's no difficulty. You're sick, but there's no difficulty. So it's possible you can have a very light sickness, but it's not difficult. He owes qada and kaffara. Okay.
If it's wajib wanting to break your fast, you owe qada.
If it's what?
Wajib. If it's like severe pain.
Yeah.
You have to make it up.
If it's severe pain, yes, you still have to make up a day. Yeah. And it's obligatory upon you to break it, and you have to make up a day. ومفهوم لضرورة أن الصحيح الذي يحصل له المشقة بالصوم لا يجوز له الفطر إلا أن يضطر بحيث يخشى الهلاك أو شديد الأذى الذي لا يستطيع الصبر معه على الصوم. So what is المشقة here? You cannot be patient with it anymore. You reach a limit. ولما قدم أن الصيام تطوعا لا يجوز له الفطر في السفر اختيارا كان يتوهم عدم الجواز لصائم رمضان بالأولى رفع ذلك الإيهام بقوله ومن سافر. Okay, listen to this. Let's talk about outside of Ramadan you're doing qada. if you're doing qada, which is a makeup fast, outside of Ramadan, and you intentionally break it, you have to make tawbah, you committed some sins, and you have to make up the day, but you do not have the kafara. There is no kafara outside Ramadan. No kafara. What is the kafara? To fast 60 straight days, or to feed 60 different poor Muslims. 1 mudd of food. Handful like this. That's kafara. And in the Maliki madhab, you have a choice. In other madhabs, you don't have a choice. Okay. Omar, Ryan, any other Shafi'i knowledge you want to share?
No.
Okay. Now keep this in mind. Dear travelers, listen up. If you are traveling and Fajr has entered in before you left your own city, you owe that day. You cannot break fast that day. So therefore, if you're traveling in the morning and you do not want to fast because you know it's going to be very difficult for you to fast on that day, then you should either choose a flight that's the night before or go very early, leave, and just hang out at the airport. But at least you're now a traveler before Fajr. Fajr comes in the airport, you pray in the airport. Okay? What's the condition of the travel? Can I travel for entertainment in Ramadan and break my fast? It would be makruh to do such a thing, but you can break your fast. The only travel by which you cannot break your fast is an unlawful travel. Guys travel to Las Vegas, right? In Ramadan, to do haram, you got to fast. Okay? While you're at the baccarat table or the poker table, you got to fast. Okay? As crazy as that sounds, but at least you'll have 1 sin instead of 2. Gambling is destroying everything. Gambling destroys everything. It destroyed the NBA. Behind this Luka trade is gambling, for sure, 110%. No way. This is as bad as 9/11. In terms of conspiracy theories, right? Not in the damage, of course, right? 3,000 people died, not that. But I mean, to believe that that's a legitimate basketball trade is the same mind that would believe that the cavemen and Arabs who don't know how to do anything, okay, are the ones who masterminded 9/11. It's not believable. It's not believable. Yeah. Okay. Who has broken their fast and will not owe kafara? Okay, that is somebody who broke his fast on a reasonable misunderstanding. We call this in Arabic ta'wil qarib. An interpretation that, okay, I get how you made that mistake. So, for example, somebody says, we can break our fast if we're traveling. So we start traveling at 3 p.m. and we board the flight. I'm traveling. I can break my fast. So he doesn't know that you have to have broken your fast before. Okay? He doesn't know that. But he misunderstood. And he thought that as long as I'm traveling, I can break my fast. So we say, you didn't intend that to disrespect the month. You just had it wrong. So you owe qada only. It's not even owe tawbah. Okay? He then, what about somebody who actually is taught this false fatwa that you can eat what's in your hand when the adhan is going off? That's a big misunderstanding that it just goes around the net every year. Where the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ was talking about the tahajjud adhan of Bilal. There is another hadith in which there are 2 other hadiths that prove this and a verse of Quran. So you cannot take a hadith that could be interpreted and is very obviously interpreted to be before Fajr and say that outweighs 2 other hadiths and the Quran. Well, firstly, the Quran says that we fast from when Fajr comes in. حتى يتبين لكم الخيط الأبيض من الخيط الأسود من الفجر. That means as soon as Fajr comes, you can't eat anymore. That's Quran. So number 2, the Prophet himself says, إن بلال يؤذن بليل. Okay? فَكُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا حَتَّى يُؤَذِّنُوا ابن مكتوم. Bilal calls the adhan for the night, tahajjud adhan. So eat and drink, suhoor, until Ibn Maktoum calls the adhan. So when the Prophet ﷺ says, if you hear the call, the nida, and there's food in your hand, in your plate, there's a plate of food in your hand. Notice what he said, a plate of food. He didn't say food in your mouth. He didn't say food in your hand. He said, ala yadi ahadikum al-ina. On your hand is a whole plate. He said, fulfill your needs from it and don't leave it off. Okay, so if we're going to do that, then if I can carry in my hand a whole box of pizza while Sheikh Nasser is calling the adhan at NBIC, I'll eat the whole box of pizza, right? I'll be eating till dhuhr, right? Because the Prophet ﷺ said, for finishing my needs. No, this is not the meaning. The meaning is the tahajjud adhan goes off, which most of us don't have in our masajid anymore. But if the tahajjud call is made, tahajjud call now? Oh, good. That's good. Then do it. All right. Now, what else do we need? We have another evidence for this. The other evidence is, what did the Prophet himself do? Zayd was asked by Anas, what did the Prophet do how long between his end of his suhoor and the adhan of Fajr was, how long was that amount of time? And Zayd said, the amount of time it takes you to recite 50 verses. So when the Prophet says, delay the suhoor, it's delaying it in such a manner that you would still never ever fall into Fajr. That's the delay. Delay does not mean keep eating as the Imam is walking up to call the adhan, turns the mic on, puts his hand up, then only stop eating. No. Then that gives no meaning to the Nawawi hadith. There are clear matters and false matters. Clear matters and unclear matters. There's halal and haram. وَبَيْنَهُمَا أُمُورٌ مُشْتَبِهَاتٌ لَا يَعْلَمُهُنَّ كَثِيرٌ مِنَ النَّاسِ. Right. So فَمَنْ رَاءَ حَوْلَ الْحِمَى يُوشِكُ أَنْ يَقَعَ فِيهِ. If you flirt around the barrier of the king's grazing plot, you're going to go into it someday. That means someone who flirts around the haram, you're going to fall into it. Is it haram to eat after Fajr? Of course, it's one of the biggest sins. Why would you flirt with that? So those people online who are giving this fatwa to people, somebody said to me, I find this hard to believe because all my life I was taught the opposite. I was like, do you ever study epistemology? Right? Is this evidence? Because you've never heard it before, that's evidence, right? Well, some people are also taught the Trinity their whole life, right? Is that an evidence now? Ryan, do you have fiqh to share us? Shafi'i fiqh?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's a certain question, I have a good resource, but otherwise, no.
Umar ibn Khattab used to pray Maghrib before eating in Ramadan. How do we square this away with the Prophet's saying that my ummah is in good as long as they rush the breaking of the fast? So how did Umar pray Maghrib before eating? Did he disobey the Prophet? Did he delay his iftar? The answer is he broke it with his intention. Because there's two arkan of salah, of sawm. Al-rukn wa tark. Tark al-muftirat. He broke it by no longer intending to be fasting. The two pillars of fasting is the intent and leaving off what breaks the fast. So, what are you eating? What is that? A keyboard? Oh, I thought you were eating candy. All right, let's go to QA. We haven't taken QA in a long time. All right, it's time for QA. First question is, when are you going back to London, England? Soon, inshallah, but not this year. Okay. Catherine Kerr, then do you break the fast as per the time zone you're going into? You break the fast. That's a good question. People are traveling. You're on a plane. Your prayer and your fast occurs by where you physically are. So you would have to look out the window. If you see the sun setting, you break your fast and you eat. And you
Interesting message. I know the answer to.
het.
On the plane coming west,
Mm-hmm.
you say someone slept through Fajr. Someone slept through Fajr.
Yeah.
They were in somewhere over the Atlantic Ocean, slept through Fajr, and then the plane continues. Fajr leaves, and Fajr comes in again.
That's amazing.
Can you pray Fajr? Can you catch the second one?
That is amazing.
Right? Because if you already prayed it, class, you already prayed it once. Right? You're not going to pray it again.
You got, Allah gave you a second chance. Do you guys hear what Ryan said? There is a flight pattern where you could actually get Fajr twice. Right? The sun is rising from the east. So which way is this guy? He's going
to America from east.
So he's going flying west. Sun is coming, so the sun catches you, but then you outstrip the sun. Then the sun catches you again. So you got a second chance to pray Fajr.
The sub is there. The sub is
Yeah.
You don't have to pray it twice.
You wouldn't have to pray it twice, though. Yeah, because between Jummah to Jummah is 35 prayers, right? Or the whole week is 35 prayers. So check this out. The opposite happens in Morocco. And this was a mas'ala brought by Sheikh what's his name? Saeed al-Kamli. And they said that they would break their fast, but then they would pass the sun again, and then it would be up. They're going the opposite way, I guess. And so they would break their fast, but then they'd be in Asr time again, and then they would witness Maghrib again. Subhanallah. So in that case, your first breaking is enough for you. All right, so Catherine, that's the answer to your question. You would break your fast and you pray based on what's happening outside where you are. Has nothing to do with any other time zone. Layla says, when my parents took me to get braces overseas, it was Ramadan. I didn't fast for half of Ramadan because I was getting braces. Was I at fault? Yes, because that's elective. I mean, you're a child, so inshallah it's not your fault, but you owe the qada. But elective surgeries, elective things like that should not be done in Ramadan. You know what elective is, right? It's something that you don't have to do. So the teeth will not be fully ruined if you waited and got your braces in Shawwal. So when you have kids, don't take them for braces in Ramadan. Take them to braces in Shawwal. Is ADHD a legitimate reason to break the fast? The answer is no. Because, I mean, we all have ADHD. I have ADHD now, right? Like, literally, I can't sit 2 minutes without looking at my phone. This is a problem, right? I'm undiagnosed. I just diagnosed myself. I hate this reality. And one time I heard Habib Omar saying Allah does not like competition. It's competition. It's ibadah. Non-stop addiction. Always looking at the phone. I can't stand this. No, I'm going to do something about it. I'm not accepting it. I'm not accepting it. Huh? I go back to the flip if I have to. I have the flip, but I work so much that I always have my phone with me. I don't accept this anymore. Okay? So we have to stop this. But ADHD has no pain. So therefore, you cannot break the fast for ADHD. I heard that making Umrah in Ramadan is like making Hajj with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I don't know the exact wording, but it is. I did hear it. It's. Ryan says yes. Ryan will look it up. If a family member gifts my young children some small amount of money, how careful do I have to be to ensure every cent of it gets spent on the children? Do I have to buy them toys with it? When family members used to give our little children Eid money, I was very happy. Right? I took that. Let me carry this for you and take care of it for you. Right? Do I not feed you every day? The light is on for whom? Right? How are you playing? So what is given to a child is really the wali's. Unless it's something big and specific, sizable, then yes, you have to guard it for your children. Ryan with the hadith.
ابن عباس رضي الله تعالى عنهما أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال عمرة في رمضان تعدل حجة أو حجة معي متفق عليه.
Umrah in Ramadan equals Hajj or Hajj with me. Subhanallah. Bukhari and Muslim. Is there a reward for the people who are going to be amongst the people of Isa alayhi salam? They're going to be from the best of this ummah after the Sahaba. Timur has an announcement. International shipping is working. Omar, fire it up. Our store that by which we fund Umrah for youth. We are using, we're selling stuff. We're not selling stuff. This store here, it's not for us. It's for Umrah for youth. Okay. Inshallah. It will be, we can sell enough stuff to send at least 1 or 2 kids this year for free. All right, let's go to see if the Safina Misbaha is back on the Basmala Beads page. Yes, it is, and it's sold out. They keep selling out. We'll keep you up to date. They continue. Yeah, where's the payout? We continue to sell out, so we will. Are we on the homepage? No, we're not on the homepage if we sold out, I guess. Right? So we will continue to. This is one of the partnerships we had entered into. And again, we entered into this partnership for Umrah for youth. Likewise, these hoodies that you see, you buy them, the proceeds go to sending kids. And which kids? Public school kids. I mainly target public school kids. Now, that doesn't mean they're the only people who go on. Anyone could go on the trip. Umrah for youth, 50% can be adults. No problem. Not more than 50%. 50% can be adults. And the other 50% is youth. And they could go to Islamic school and be homeschooled. But when we target somebody to take for Umrah, we usually look for somebody homeschooled. Public schools. Right? We douse him in the Haramain al-Sharifain, shake him up a little bit, take him out, and hopefully some of that stuff will be out of his head. Is it permissible to make personal dua during obligatory salah, says Iman Basharun? The answer is yes, but check, the Hanafis do not allow that. They do not allow what can be asked of a human. Am I correct, Omar? Not allowed. But in the Maliki school and the Shafi'i school, it is allowed.
You can make a dua from the Quran and the Sunnah, so you can say like Rabbana atina fid dunya.
Okay, you can make the Quranic du'as that are for
You
yourself.
can make some sort of dua, and then in your head you can have a specific thing like I want money.
Correct.
But you just can't say it. Obviously, the wording is
Good.
what's in the,
All right, here's a question from Victoria. Why are there so many explanations of the Prophet's sayings? Why is it easy to misunderstand or interpret his sayings? Makes a lot of sense. It's a great question. There's a couple answers to this. Answer number 1. There are a lot of commentaries on the Prophet's sayings that don't contradict each other because, or maybe they can, but the reason is that the Prophet ﷺ was granted Jawami'ul Kalim, which means in very few words, there's a lot of meanings. And sometimes 2 things are correct, and the Prophet expresses that in 1 meaning, such as the very famous incident after the Battle of Khandaq, in which they had to go to the Bani Qurayza, and the Prophet ﷺ made an announcement, you should not pray Asr except at Bani Qurayza, meaning that you should arrive there before Maghrib. However, some Sahaba heard it late, and Maghrib came in upon them before they had arrived. So they said, the Prophet, we're going to take it by the letter of the word. And some other Sahaba said, no, that's not what the Prophet meant. He simply meant rush so that you can get there before nightfall, before Maghrib. Right? The Prophet ﷺ, he allowed for both. He approved both. So that shows there's multiplicity of opinions that do contradict each other, but they're both valid opinions. So that's the first answer. The second answer is you have to keep in mind, in any incident, in any situation, where one person's narrating part of the description, another person's narrating another part of the description, time passes, situations pass, change, even rulings change, and yet still people are narrating parts. So that's where there needs to be a lot more understanding, and you need to put pieces, the hadiths together like a puzzle. You need to put these hadith together. You know, for example, there's another hadith that says, if you hear the call of Ibn Maktoum, then eat and drink until you hear the call of Bilal. So clearly at some point, Ibn Maktoum was doing the tahajjud adhan, and Bilal was doing the fajr adhan. Is that impossible to grasp? Of course not. It's possible, right? It's very possible that two people who have a job at some point do the opposite, right? It's very fathomable. So the answer to Victoria's question is that aside from the jawami'ul kalim, the few words that have many meanings, and we can extrapolate, that's extrapolation. But the hadith where you can have a misunderstanding is it's because a partial narration was given. He didn't explain the whole context, the muhaddith, or the speaker of the hadith didn't explain the whole context, right? So that has nothing to do with the messenger. That's on the transmitters, that they transmitted. Maybe they understood in their mind, the context was understood, so they don't need to repeat the context, right? And so much time has passed that we don't know the context. So that's why hadith, it's like puzzle pieces. The Prophet's speech is clear, but the context isn't always transmitted with it. The context can be found in other hadiths. So therefore, we need these essays. That's what Suyuti did. He would gather all of them, and he would give you the whole clear picture. And you know what? This issue of when to stop having suhoor and when imsak is, how much... Let's see if Suyuti has an essay on it, because he seems to have an essay on everything, right? رسالة something رسالة الشك في حقيقة الإمساك, right? Let's see, because that's what Suyuti is. Anything that if you know, there's a rule. There's a rule for the internet. If you thought of it, it's already online. You've heard about this, like rule 404 or something? If you thought of it, it's already online. If you think of a mas'ala, Suyuti's already written about it. اكتب رسالة. I'm guessing it's رسالة الشك في حقيقة الإمساك, right? But look up, does Suyuti have an essay on imsak? Meanwhile, next question we'll take is from Waqar. Surah Al-Baqarah verse 60. Does it mean they are not good food? Surah Al-Baqarah verse 60. All right, we'll read that. Surah Al-Baqarah verse 60 states, وَإِذِ اسْتَسْقَى مُوسَى لِقَوْمِهِ فَقُلْ Remember when Moses struck water for his people, and 12th spring came, and he said, eat and drink. And then they said, what did they say? They said, pray that your Lord brings out for us from its produce herbs, cucumbers, garlic, lentils, and onions. He said, do you exchange better for worse? Yes, it doesn't mean at all that herbs, cucumbers, garlic, lentils, and onions are bad foods. Not at all. But when Allah gives you a food, and He's sending you the birds, the quails, for you to hunt, and He's sending you down the manna in the Christian tradition, they call it manna. That's the best food. If that's what Allah sent you from the heavens, because nobody can control where the birds come from. It's not like you hunted them. And the manna is coming down from the sky. And the manna was a wax. They would clean it off, of course. Then it was a wax, and inside of it was like a honey, right? And they ate that with the food. So you get that, and you got your bird, your quails, and now you're asking for other food? Firstly, just on that, honey and quail outdoes onions, garlic, cucumbers, and lentils. So just on that fact, if I put both of you in front of you, if I put honey and let's say quail, and on the other side I put cucumbers, dal, garlic, onions, and you chose that, the dal, something's wrong with you, right? So just on that. But the other reason is that Allah sent you this. How could you want what other than what Allah sent you? It's an insult. Same thing. Why some people, Sheikh al-Maghiri said, there comes a point for the awliyaullah, they never make dua, they never ask dunya. So, why is that the case? So the answer is that if a wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was given from the ruhani or the qalbi na'im, the pleasures of the heart, or he was shown, or his knowledge is firmly established and even shown Jannah, then he would seem foolish to ask for dunya. And they give an example of that. You go to a steakhouse and you order salad, right? In that case, at that point, you're insulting the person at the restaurant. Like, you're wasting our time. You're insulting us. You know we have far better food. Why are you asking for this lowly thing? But if you do ask for the higher thing, then the salad comes with it for free, right? And if you go into a restaurant and you make a massive order, then you say, listen, and we do this all the time. Nobody makes massive orders more than us. We go into a place, 20 people. The guy doesn't have to work the rest of the weekend when we go, right? And if I was to say to the guy, listen, I need you to, on the house, we need some lassis, mango lassis on the house. He's going to give it to us on the house. He made more money from us than he made all day when we roll in 20 and 30 and 40 guys, right? And we say, listen, we need like a couple mango lassis, couple rotis, right? He's going to give it to us on the house. Aqir, tafadhal, qad mal qadin. Salam rahmatullah. Tafadhal.
Two questions, actually.
Speaketh.
One question is, how do you distinguish between trials that are brought by Allah versus situations that might be self-inflicted?
Situation, it's by how it happened. It's by the blameworthiness. Yeah. And then it's by how you react to it. So, let's take an example. Someone drives without a seatbelt. Then his head goes crashing through the windshield, right? So in that case, you are blameworthy, right? You're blameworthy. However, you may react in such a way that is actually still good for you. And therefore, you are blameworthy and it elevates your rank. Because your reaction to it was you got better in dua, better in deen and tawbah. So it can be both. You deserve blame, but it elevated you. Oh, that's a good one, Omar.
So
That's a good one. Yep.
just an example, for example, like,
Turn his mic on, please.
I don't know if I want to discuss. It's kind of controversial though. It's like October 7th.
You're on the Nothing But Facts live stream, bro. It's controversial, he said. Nothing after the 9/11 talk
Right.
surpasses that.
Okay, so some people would say like, okay, October 7th happened, right?
Yeah.
And the initiation or the catalyst
Yeah.
that led to, even though this has been going on, but the catalyst that led to like post October 7th
Yeah.
was the Al-Aqsa flood, for example, right? So some have argued that, oh, they shouldn't have done that. They brought it upon themselves.
Bro, they didn't need to do that. Their existence there has brought it upon themselves.
Oh.
Right? You come in and take people's land. Years later, they're still fighting you.
Yeah.
You initiated this thing. Who told you to jam yourself between all these Arabs? You just better hope they never discover their deen again, because then their God is going to help them, and you're going to be gone. That's the truth.
Fair enough.
I'm telling you. South Africa, for example. There's all the controversy in South Africa. The starting point is not, in my view, is not whether or not they're going to own the land. The starting point is, if you now run the government and you're Africans, 92%, 100% of your farmland is owned by 8% of people who came from another country, never tried to assimilate. It's not like the South Africans became assimilated and they intermarried. No, these people stayed away from you, but they took your land. And we all know on record that it's taken land. My question is, why are you even still there? Why not export the whole group? Right? Let's go to the root of the matter. Think about it. Think about it. Just because you inherited something stolen does not stop it from being stolen. It's still stolen, right? So if you ask me, my question is not whether or not we're going to buy the lands from you or take some of the land from you back. No, the question is, why are you here? That's the real question. You are the biggest illegal immigrant. You're illegal. Your child is illegal. Your grandchild is illegal. So same policy that we're got going here with ICE and Trump. And who's the guy who runs ICE now? You know, that tough dude, right?
Oh, yeah.
That guy. Same policy. You're the big. Is there any more illegal immigrant, illegal alien, than the guy who comes to colonize you? You and all of your lineage. If you had intermarried, maybe I'd say, okay, khalas, we can't intertwine. You're all intertwined, and you bought benefit, and now my kids have married your kids, and they're enjoying your wealth. Now it's all mixed. Now I can't say anything, right? Okay, who's the border czar that we have in the United States? But for you guys to come invade our country, create your own form of citizenship, and then give that to your kid? No. So my starting point on the South Africa situation is I'm not talking about the land. I'm talking about you. Okay. Now I'm not there in South Africa to know how they live with each other or whatever, but just from the outsider perspective, let's go to the root of the problem. I think Minnie may have been right, and Nelson, he softened up in jail. Looking in retrospect, I think Winnie Mandela was right? Clean house. That was Winnie Mandela. Clean house. You have colonizers are a massive, epic horde of locusts that have taken your land, taken your country, taken everything from you. Okay. You don't now go and say, okay, well, the locusts have agreed to move over to the side. They are locusts. They're going to take for free. Stealing. Yeah.
My second question was, we're in the month of Ramadan. What is the ideal structure of a dua that we should make, or like how we structure it?
Okay, how do you structure a dua is a very good question. You begin by thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for what He blessed you. You then must make salat and salam on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then you make dua. There's two ways you could do it. You can make dua for your parents first, and everyone who owes a right over you. And then you can make dua for the ummah. And then you can make dua for the needy. And then you make dua for yourself. Or you could put yourself first. Or you can reorder this however you wish. And then you close with salah on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay. Aqil, what do you think of my South Africa proposal? Is that analysis fair?
If it's a proposal, I'm not saying anything. But if it's an analysis,
that is my beginning. That is, if we're going to be at the negotiating table, firstly, if I'm ruling, why don't I negotiate?
yeah.
If I have all the guns, why would I negotiate? They got the government. I'm not negotiating, right? In Africa, do you know how many countries have looked one day and woke up one day and saw whites, Desis, Indians control so much money and say, 24 hours, take what you can and hit the road.
Yeah, exactly.
The guys that we went to in Australia, there's a family that lives in, what's that name of that city in Australia that we went to?
No, Melbourne?
No, not Melbourne, not Sydney,
Perth?
not Perth. That other city that we went to. They're having the Olympics there in a couple of years. Yeah. Well,
Adelaide?
anyway, we went to that city. That whole group, wonderful people. The nicest community that you'll ever. Brisbane, the nicest community you'll ever be. Where it's their origin. Businessmen that went from India to Africa. So a lot of wealth to be made in Africa. And they started little businesses. One day, the African dictator got up. He looked around. The only rich people are Indians here. And we're working for them. Forget this. And they don't have Congresses and Senates. They just gets on the radio. Indians, you got 24 hours to pack up and hit the road. 24 hours. And you get up and leave, right? That's those people who went legally. And that, I would say, was like probably unfair, but nonetheless, it's their country, right? It was legally. Well, he just changed the law, right? This is an invasion. They colonized you guys. They came from whatever, Netherlands, Dutch, to South Africa.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And now they're doing this to your country. And you know what? The only thing wrong about it is, why does it take you so long? You have 92% versus 8%. And the 8% never intermarried with the 92% so that we could say we don't know who's who anymore. And it's all mixed up. No, we clearly know who's who. So.
Considering Islam backs this like anti-colonial or decolonization movement.
Colonizers have to be repelled, regardless. Now, what you choose to replace it with is different. That's a difference. I would actually generally look to see what are the ahkam shar'iyya on the situation in South Africa. Just any situation like that. Forget South Africa. Any situation where a small group of people come, steal all of your farmland, they die, their kids inherit it, their kids inherit it, their kids inherit it. And what I understand is that as long as there's a struggle and a consciousness that this is stolen land, then it is stolen land. You can't forget about it. Everyone goes, lives nicely, then come back years later after we're all things changed. So, but as long as there's a consciousness, and there is a consciousness, that this is stolen, and you guys invaded, I don't know how we can tolerate this. To be asked personally, I don't know how it can be tolerated, right? It would be same thing here, except that the Native Americans have no power. But in South Africa, they're not powerless. They run the whole thing now. If a sinner struggles with inner conflict, but must continue his sheikh dad's legacy, he may feel unfit. Should he still preach Quran while battling his nafs? Yes. If you were to inherit a position of teaching something from teaching positions, they shouldn't be inherited, but let's say they are inherited, and you find yourself, you have sins, you struggle while continue to doing good deeds. Ibn Al-Ta says there may be somebody who is what is it? كمل تخصيصه ولم يكمل تخليصه. He has been chosen, but he has not been yet completed. He's still in the cooker, but he can fulfill the job. He can do the job, but he's still in the cooker. Isn't that all of us then? Would you have a friendly discussion with Daniel Hakikachu about misconceptions on the Ashari? I don't care if anyone misunderstands anything, okay? I could not get... Firstly, I would talk to him, and I'd talk to anybody, right? But I don't care if the whole Twitter world doesn't understand something, right? Or what they feel. Honestly, I'm not going into this world. Came back to Tarim. Came back from Tarim, right? And I focus on my business, and I'm not getting involved in that world. I could care less about it. But anyone who wants to have a genuine, sincere discussion, why wouldn't I? Him included. All right, let's go to the next question here. Can supplicating affect other people's free will? No, of course not. Thoughts about Rhodesia? No, I don't know anything about it. Why do people believe in science more than in religion? It's a very good question, and there's an epistemological reason for it. Because what you see is always stronger to you than what you hear. Right? What you see is always stronger to you than what you hear, but that doesn't necessarily always. It's not always the case that what is seen is more true than what is heard. So, for example, why is it that we chase the dunya for 9 hours a day, chasing the dunya when we know absolutely 100% we're going to live in eternity based on our worship and our good deeds, not based on our money. But we spend 9 hours a day chasing the money. It's because the dunya is right in front of us. We can see it. We can feel it. The afterlife is just a belief based on what we heard from hadith and Quran. So it's weaker in our view. In our eyes, the impact is weaker because we haven't seen it. So we have a bias towards seeing than hearing. Right? And that's why we have to do dhikr so much. Dhikr, we have to do it so much because of that natural human bias. And we overcome it by suhbah, by being with other people who take the afterlife seriously, take Allah seriously. By being with them, it can outweigh our natural inclination to follow what we see and hear with what we know is true. Why should we work if rizq is upon Allah and we will get it anyways? Because we have been obligated to work. We not work to obtain the rizq. Rizq is coming either way. We work because we're obligated to work. Allah's obligated us. Attila the Hun has a super chat. Where is Attila the Hun super chat? If you say the latter, then what's the incentive? Okay, all things being equal, who's better? A guy who sins and seeks forgiveness and is forgiven, or a guy who is tested with the same sin but he remains patient and doesn't do the sin? The one who is patient, does not fall for temptation, is better than the one who sins and seeks forgiveness. Right? The guy who restrains himself from the temptation. And she said here, he said, I don't know, all things being equal. So that means humility is equal, everything else is equal. The guy who can restrain himself is always better than the guy who stains himself and then cleans the stain. Did anyone agree or disagree? Preventative, always better.
Maybe they're thinking about that one hadith where Prophet said that if you didn't sin, Allah would replace your people who sinned and sought forgiveness, and He would forgive them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But that wouldn't have any implication on actions. The hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, if you didn't sin, Allah would remove you and replace you with the people who would fall into sins and seek forgiveness. Yes, that's true, but that would not implicate any action. There's no action based upon this. Oh, okay, good. So let me go commit sins. Right? Like that.
You gotta join the meeting for people are waiting.
Oh, really? There's a meeting?
I think it's for the Umrah trip.
So let's see. I wasn't really. Where are they? Are they on Zoom?
Yeah, apparently. He said you know about it.
You're not checking your phone enough.
I guess I'm not checking my phone enough. I need to get some more ADHD.
Could you tell them 3:30? That's the orientation session.
Did they send me something? Did they send me a link
We have a Zoom link. I have it right here.
to open it?
This is the orientation session for the Umrah trip.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got to go to the orientation for the Umrah trip. So thank you all very much. Jazakumullahu khairan. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. We'll get Hosseini's super chat tomorrow, inshallah.